All right, welcome back. And as you just heard, we're inside Be Healthy, Be You. Miss Julia Me, Miss Brenda Buchanan, Ascension, Wisconsin. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
How's everyone?
Good.
Glad you're back because every Tuesday in the chat box,
Oh,
People are asking.
we're the nurses.
Oh,
But I think that's more they don't want to hear me.
no, I don't think that's the
Yeah, no, because a caller called in
Oh.
and said, let the nurses talk more.
Well, you ask us really good questions, so that helps.
I just, if it was up to folks, I couldn't talk on the talk program. So what can I tell you? Well, welcome back, ladies.
Thank you. We're happy to be back.
How's everybody been?
Good.
very good.
Good.
Julie and I are going on vacation next week, so we'll really be good.
So you won't be here.
Yeah, that's the reason we will not be here next Tuesday or the Tuesday after or the Tuesday after that.
Long vacation.
It is.
A long
Yes.
vacation. Welcome, ladies. It's been 3 weeks.
Yes, it has.
A lot of life between.
It's been a lot going on, right?
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah, you doing okay?
I am doing well. I have that breast cancer support group, and it was a really heavy group last month. You have to go through so many changes to get healed or cancer free, and then to find out that you have permanent damage done
Yes.
in the process of going through your healing. And so, you have to have the spiritual aspect to it. I'm still here, and speak life. You got to speak life, regardless if whatever complications you got, you make the best of it. Don't look at me like that, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was.
Yeah. Even, we talk about colorectal cancer. There are some.
I don't have it.
Thank God.
We talk about.
But I've been went to surgery with people or whatever, and be there when they come out and they go, I don't have that bag on me, do I? I don't have that bag. And the colostomy, they don't want the bag, but if you have to have the bag to live.
Mm-hmm. And oftentimes that can be reversed, right? 6 months down the road or so after healing, sometimes that can be reversed. But yeah, I think we get caught up on what we feel like we can control, right? So got to be angry at something. So now I'm angry because I have this bag, instead of trying to refocus and be grateful that, wow, I made it through and this is what I have to deal with, but I'm now cancer free.
Because the alternative.
Correct.
Is death. It's death.
Yeah.
So you learn how to live with the complications that you have after being cured from a life-taking disease. So, yeah.
And then there's fear in that too, right? People are terrified of the future, right? What this means.
Yeah.
How will this change my life? What does it mean for my family?
Yes.
I'm just reading part of the background here, and so I have a question. It says here, colorectal cancer is the third most common cancer type worldwide. Last year, almost 2 million cases were diagnosed. It's the second most common cause of cancer death, leading to almost 1 million deaths per year. So that means that if it's 2 million, that's like 50%. Am I looking at that right?
It is. And with African Americans, it's higher.
20% higher.
Yes. Well, it's 20% higher diagnosis, but 40% higher mortality rate. So even though we get it, we have a higher chance, but we are more likely to die from it than Caucasian people.
Is that because of later diagnosis?
Diagnosis, lifestyle. People, just even trying to get people to get a colonoscopy is challenging. A lot of people, and a lot of that is fear-based, right? They're just like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that.
The prep is
The
also
prep, it can be. There's different types of preps available, and your doctor will give you the prep based on what they think is best for you, based on your history. If you have a lot of history, I mean, if you have a lot of problems with constipation, they're more likely to give you that one that really people hate the most, because to clean you out. But the most important thing, whatever prep they give you, it's never going to be good, right? You're not going to be like, wow, I really love doing this because it tastes good and I'm going to sit on the toilet for the whole day. I'm going to just love this. But you got to do
you
it.
can read your album covers.
That's right. There you go.
You can read
Yeah. Bring a book. Whatever you need.
Catch up on a whole lot of reading. If
You can.
I was saying back in the
Mhm.
day, like you buy an album and you just sit there on the toilet and you just read everything.
Well, no, men did that. Us women did not do that. Right. Women.
It's a dude thing.
It is. We always say men are in the bathroom for a long time. We got too much to do. We got to get in, do our thing, and get back to
Well,
it.
my mother said
But that's
this
men's escape. I'm
when I
going to
was
sit
a
in this
kid. I
bathroom.
overheard a conversation she
Mhm.
was having with someone, and she was talking about. She said, one of the signs that your kids are reading is when they take a book into the bathroom. And she said that that's a good thing, right? Because they're actually reading. But that the throne gives you a whole lot. And when you're getting cleansed for that colonoscopy, you're gonna be there a minute.
And and when I was saying you want to complete it because you don't want to waste your time
Right.
and not completing it, going,
And have to do
getting it all set up, and they start to go in and say, yeah, we can't do it because there's still too much stool in here. And now you've been drugged, you've been set up, and they're going to send you back home, and you have to do it all over again.
And what I found out was there was kind of a gap in terms of what I had in terms of health insurance, and during that little gap period, the cost of a colonoscopy, it was just higher, right?
It is expensive.
Right.
So when you
then-
look and see what your insurance
They
pays.
suggested then that I would do that Cologuard,
Mhm.
which is not very accurate, right?
Mhm.
At the-
Right. And it's only for those people that are very low risk. So if you have a history of polyps, history of cancer in your family, like a first degree relative, or you have all kinds of GI issues, Crohn's disease, all these other things, then that's not even a test for you. It's for a normal, otherwise healthy person without any kind of GI issues or history. And so it's for it's for a smaller group. It's good for those people who absolutely refuse to have a colonoscopy. But if you do have it done and it comes back positive, now you still have to go and have a full colonoscopy done. So it's good for those people that there's absolutely no way they're going to go in and have it done. But it really is a screening. It doesn't tell everything. It doesn't tell you if you've got polyps in there. It tells you if there's certain types of genetic material that are cancer related. It doesn't really tell you that much. So you still want to, if possible, get that colonoscopy done.
I was just there
And
was
there's-
an article in the New York Times either yesterday or today. Here it goes. Yeah.
I think there's couple different tests now.
Yeah. And they were talking about, and we just kind of mentioned in terms of that they're young. Wait for it to come up. That younger people now are being diagnosed
Mhm.
with, it says nearly half of colorectal cancer now occurs in younger patients, study shows.
Mm-hmm.
And it says nearly half of all new colorectal cancer cases now occur in adults under 65, signaling a major shift in demographics of the disease, according to the new data published Monday by the American Cancer Society. It used to be grandpa's disease, but it's not anymore. Okay. Researchers have observed what's called a birth cohort effect for colorectal cancer, meaning that successive generations in this case begin with those born in the 1950s.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be us.
Right?
And
Barely.
I escaped it by just a little bit.
At the very end
I'm
of the
real
boomers. I am a boomer.
I'm at the tail end of the boomers.
I'm
Yes.
a boomer,
Mhm.
but so it sounds like it's almost genetic.
There is a small group that's genetic. There's a couple of different things that they look at, but it's still a small percentage. But there are some cases that are genetic. But also, we look at lifestyle, right? I mean, when you look in families, you see similar patterns of lifestyle. Um, but people that we're starting to see more and more people, they lower with 45 now it is, and getting those. But it used to be too that doctors really didn't pay a lot of attention and look at it as a differential diagnosis with younger people. So they're having all these GI problems. Cancer is kind of in the back of their mind that this is what's going on. It's inflammatory bowel disease. It's all these other things. But now they're paying more attention to that because they're seeing that these younger people, they need to be tested. And so people, more and more young people now are symptomatic, and doctors are more likely to say, we need to do a colonoscopy. But then they still got to convince that insurance company, right, that you need to pay for this colonoscopy because this is what we're concerned about. But it still is a challenge getting people to get a colonoscopy. That can still be a big challenge. And for some people, if it's healthy, you may not have to have another one for 10 years. But if you're somebody that has some precancerous polyps, depending on the size and the amount of the polyps, you might have to go every 3 years, every 5 years, every 7 years, depending on what those risks are. But we got to pay attention to it. And that's another thing. We talk about family history. We've got to be sharing, that kind of information. If grandpa died of colon cancer, then their descendants need to know that so that they can share that information with their doctor.
They're also, based on the study, found that new cases were driven largely by cancers of the far side of the colon and the rectum.
So the descending colon,
which are more common among older adults.
Mm-hmm.
And they said the distinct location of the cancers and the rising rate suggested there may be unique drivers of the disease in younger generations. For example, scientists suspect that environmental exposure that began around the 1950s may be partially responsible. Much of the ongoing research is focused on changes to the gut biome. Am I pronouncing
biome?
Mm-hmm. And inflammation associated with modern products like ultra-processed foods, microplastics, and antibiotics.
Overuse of antibiotics. We've gotten better at that in this country, but 15 years ago, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago, you run to the doctor, everybody got an antibiotic. Antibiotics kill off those good bacteria that are in the colon too, that we need. And so we sometimes we're our own worst enemy, not knowing that, right? But we do. I struggle with a lot of the people I work with to get them to eat vegetables or to eat non-processed foods. A lot of people, that's all they eat is processed food because that's what they've grown up on. That's what's easy. You can go to the store and pull something out of the freezer and cook it as opposed to, cooking it fresh. That takes a lot of time. It takes knowledge on how to prepare certain foods. And a lot of people, they have not seen the value in it because they can just go purchase it. But in the long term, that's doing damage to our bodies.
Dr. Morningstar, our school physician, whenever you had a cold, he'd give you tetracycline and codeine.
Yep. Codeine to
a lot of people
cut that cough out.
Fake the cold. You get the codeine.
Yeah, that codeine kind of lowers that. You're not going to cough. It decreases your cough.
Is good, right?
Not always.
But you said that there's stuff.
Right. If there's stuff you need to cough up, but if you're coughing and gagging, or you have a dry cough, or you can't sleep at night, then it's appropriate to have things that help you sleep. But yeah, they don't dish out codeine like they used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody got that little pink.
So
everybody got that little pink codeine.
Yeah, with that party school, man, that codeine, you just be people would mix that with alcohol. That was a awful mix.
Oh, horrible.
That's an awful mix. But at a party school, it's about
Wow.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Keith. Thank you for taking my call. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Ryder. Good morning, Mr. Clark. Good morning, Milwaukee. And again, forgive me for Michelle. I didn't know. But Assalamu alaikum for those, and Ramadan Mubarak. So, Tyrone W. Rafiq Muhammad Abdullah speaking. I didn't want to go the long route of colonoscopy and all that, but I did want to say that it's been on my mind quite a bit there, and I've talked it over with Dr. Izzard and Karen Dobson and even Miss Ebony Solly there. But the young man, I guess, the young man, his brother's umbilical cord actually saved his life. As a country that's got so much money and everything, I mean, what are we missing here? I mean, why is it so bad for me to say, or my at birth to say, well, okay, well, let's start saving these umbilical cords, or the placenta, even, if you will, or even our own bone marrow and plasma. What's so bad about working it from that end coming forward as far as genetics? Okay, we're talking genetics here, cancer, whatever. Sickle cell anemia. What's wrong with working it from that end? Saying, well, let's see if we can get something from the umbilical cord or the bone marrow or the placenta, to see if we can work this from the front end coming forward, as opposed to you've got cancer or you've got sickle cell, whatever you've got, you've got it. So you're working it from the back end now, as opposed to, well, let's go get some of your own bone marrow or some of your own, plasma or whatever, and work it from the front end as opposed to the back end. What's wrong with that? I mean, other countries seem to be doing it, and we just seem to be so far behind the 8 ball of, we're scared of the placenta because whatever.
Well, don't they use placenta for hair products?
Come on, Keith.
No, they do.
They do.
But I mean,
Mm-hmm.
is that going to cure your cancer?
No, but your hair is going to be.
Oh, man. Okay, all right then. So there you go, ladies. Thank you.
And there are
Man,
people
come
that
on,
choose to store the umbilical cord and things like that, but there's a cost associated with that.
What's the benefit?
There are some cells, healthy things in there that they can use to then maybe help fight certain diseases if you develop those. They're not used, like, you don't get it every day. It's something that they store in the event that it may benefit you in the future. But storage of that it's costly.
That's the problem. We don't have the adequate storage that is needed to be able to label it and go to it when you need it. We do save some things, but lifespan of the fertility of the specimen that you're saving doesn't last forever.
Right.
So you do have a certain period time. But yeah, they did used to sell a lot of the placenta to hair products, but women got informed on that, and they a lot of women are questioning and keeping their own placentas
For the hair?
No,
they're eating it.
What?
And there are a lot of cultures that do that. Not just, I mean, we have picked up on it more because we've seen it in other cultures. The benefits of, that they tout of, some it's health reasons. For some, it's part of their culture that they save the placenta and eat that.
Medically recommended?
No, not in our country.
So I know with certain animals, after they birth their child, they eat the placenta. So is that pretty much the same thing?
Yeah, but we don't eat ours like fresh out. They take it. They prepare it. Yeah.
I will hope not.
We don't just kind of grab it and yum.
From womb to table.
Right. Give me that placenta. Here, honey. Here. Thank you, doctor. This is my placenta.
It was a black woman who created what we call farm to table. Found that out during Black History Month. Anyway.
And that goes with placenta, farm to table?
No, it said womb. Remember, womb to,
okay.
womb to table.
Okay. Womb to table. Okay.
Womb to table. Wow. I just, but look, the people that eat chitlins shouldn't, be tripping.
Well, this is the thing. The placenta has a very rich blood supply. They tout the benefits of it. Now, personally, I didn't save mine and eat it, but people do. People ask for it.
They got to give it to you.
Yeah, take it home. It's part of your body. Take it home and freeze it. Get some recipes and
when it comes out, they got to look at the placenta and
Yes.
make sure
Inspect
they got
it.
it all. Because if they leave any inside of you, you will bleed.
Yes, you can cause. Actually, that was the cause of my niece's cancer. Was a piece of retained placenta.
Really?
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
So you want it all out.
She actually passed away on her 23rd birthday. Now they really do inspect that. They should make sure that it's 100% intact, and that's what happens. But usually if a little piece is left behind, like Julia said, you do have a lot of bleeding. They're able to go in and see that the uterus needs to be cleaned out. But
Can you sue?
well, for her, she was a child. Basically, she was under the age of 18, and by the time it was discovered, it was well past the statute of limitations. We didn't know what we were dealing with, and really suing would, I personally, I wouldn't want to go through that. There's not really, in suing for malpractice is not as easy as it seems, but it's we had her little girls to take care of, and that's what we focused on.
So y'all know for sure, man, that it was because of what was left inside.
Right. At the time, we didn't know that, but after she got really ill and with more testing and that, and one of our doctors at Ascension did the surgery and, found the tumor in her uterus. And he was wonderful, by the way. I mean, he's since retired, but when we talk about compassion of physicians and, for him, I had worked with him a lot from a legal risk perspective and didn't always see that humanity part of him,
He
right?
was mean.
He was. But when my niece had to have the surgery, she was a young girl. So she had like a little flower tattoo around her navel, right? Around her belly button. And he told her, I'm going to have to cut through that. I'll do my best. But it's not going to look the way it does now. Now, he knew going in that the goal was to try to slow the progression of this cancer. We knew it was still going to take her life. But after the surgery, he came in the room and I was there with her. And he said, did you look at your tattoo? And she says, no. He looked at it and he cut around it. That just made me cry because that showed he had compassion for a young girl who he knew wasn't going to make it, but that meant something for her, and to be able to save that. So I never saw that side of him because I've never been a patient, but when I saw that side of him, it changed my feelings towards him.
Thank you, Tyrone W. So, and we'll get back to the conversation around colorectal cancer. So that means that a lot of the postpartum mortality, I'm talking before we really had advanced, were women who had not totally disengaged their placenta, right?
Right. And I mean, the majority of the time it works well. And usually if it doesn't, you've got some acute bleeding and stuff like that doesn't go away, and then they go in and they scrape the placenta.
Like when
or the
many
uterus.
of us of our ancestors, certainly it was a midwife. So,
you mean back in the day?
Yeah, that's
there were lots of, like people say, young people that we work with when we talk about the importance of prenatal care and postnatal care, because we find a lot of our young women do not follow up with the doctors after they have the baby. They just never go back. And there, people say women have been having babies for ages, but a lot of women died around childbirth, during, before, after. Babies died. Because we didn't have the knowledge, nor did we have the healthcare that we have nowadays, especially for women of color. A lot of women died back then giving birth to their children. My mother's mother died after giving birth to her last child.
Okay. And I know but that was this fascinating discussion because, we dealt with infant mortality, and right now I think they just passed a law that I think you can get medical insurance now
for up to a year.
Up to a year postpartum.
Correct.
Yeah. So you want to do the call and then go to break?
Which was a huge win. Really is a big deal.
Caller, welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning. Hi, Keith. How you doing?
I'm good, Angela. How are you?
I'm doing good. I know y'all speaking on cancer and all, but I have a question regarding GI, because I have that problem. and no one in my family on my mom's side or my dad's side has that problem. So how did it trickle down to me? And none of my siblings
Which,
on either side has it.
Right, but what kind of
what
GI
kind of
issue?
problems?
Oh, well, I have irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay. Okay.
A
Yeah.
lot of people have irritable bowel syndrome now. I mean, and it's sort of a catch-all category
Mhm.
when they've ruled out many of the other things. And so it doesn't not have to be hereditary at
Mhm.
all. It can just show up. We don't know exactly what causes. I mean, that's why it's irritable bowel syndrome, because we don't have an exact cause for it.
Okay.
But it can. There are a lot of people with irritable bowel syndrome.
Oh, because I mean, man, this is awful.
Yes.
It's very awful. I mean, I go days on ends like, wow, I'm just sick,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a terrible feeling. I after I had my last daughter, that's when I was diagnosed with it, and I was just like, and the regimen that the doctor got me on now is just like, wow, is it ever going to stop? Because I don't. The medication that I take, it doing what it's doing, but it's just like I'm not able to eat, and keep food down or none of that. Even water just won't.
Yes.
So I don't know. I just thought maybe it was hereditary or something. I really didn't know because I still don't know.
Yeah. Right.
With me being the age that I am, and it's happened when my last daughter, she's 35 now. So I've been having it since then, but man, and they can't find nothing to stop it. The medication that they ever try to give me don't help.
All right. Thank you, Angela.
Yep,
You're
you're
listening to Community Voice. We're inside Be Healthy, Be You. Miss Julie Means, Miss Brenda Buchanan, Ascension, Wisconsin. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Gonna have a laughing attack.
He said he's coming out the bed. He's back
The music band, man.
He's back there asleep.
I'm
We're like,
watching the video.
Come on, we're ready.
Yeah, but y'all was talking, so I kind of figured out.
We was talking to you.
No, well, y'all was talking before you was talking to me. Y'all was talking amongst yourself. And now, hey, Keith, you got a show to do, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get back to it.
Diversion.
Right.
Oh, man,
Diversion.
'cause I'm easily distracted.
Weapons of mass destruction.
Oh man, when I was a little guy, Miss McKinley was my babysitter. She was like, I was in kindergarten. I was in morning kindergarten then. Because remember we used to have morning afternoon. I was in morning kindergarten, and they were building the expressway, and I had this fascination with machines, right? Watching them just so. I don't know how I had to get Hadley. I'm coming from Fifth Street School. She was like on 9th Street. So I'm walking. Well, I just stood for about an hour. I just sat up there and watched them work.
You missed kindergarten?
No.
Oh,
I get
okay.
to Miss McKinley's house.
Okay.
An hour late.
An hour late.
Oh.
And this was a different time because other people
Could
whoop
discipline
you.
your children. Yes.
So here's what she did. Miss McKinley every day at noon prayed. She prayed every day at noon. And I didn't know she was a Baptist because she prayed so much. That woman prayed and then gave me a whooping.
Yeah, because she was praying so she wouldn't kill you while she was
And
giving
I'm sure
the
she
whooping.
now understands she was worried something
Yeah.
could have happened
Of course.
to me.
An hour? You were an hour
And
late?
for a
Man.
kid,
Man,
yeah.
I was one of those kids easily distracted. If I saw something that my curiosity, I'd just go, oh, I wonder how that works.
Yeah. I walked away from church one time after church when I was a kid, and my parents had to go all the way home, and we lived in the country, right? So it's a long way to get home because they couldn't find me. I eventually made my way. I was smart, even not smart enough to not walk away from church, but I found a way. I made it to one of my cousins' houses where they called my parents. Let's say when I got home, I got double teamed by my mother and my mother's oldest sister.
So
It was not
they
good
didn't
for
do
me.
like when Jesus kind of wandered off. in the
No,
temple.
it was not good at all.
I wish I would have.
And now, as a parent,
Mama, I was about my father's business. No, you about to get a whooping. I would have told my mama that I was about my father's business and they're asking the elders questions. And he's going like, yeah. But you should have had your little butt with us. But they said that was common, that they would travel. And so, you know.
She just figured he was with the tribe.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And there you are sitting up here with these and they looking at you going like, when I get you.
That's right.
I ain't going to do nothing now because we at church. But when I get you. And when your mama is talking under her breath.
Oh, yeah. When they start talking, you know you're going to be in trouble. You know it's bad.
Oil soaked. What did she say? Oil soaked extension cord. Somebody was talking about a whooping this morning, and it was oil soaked.
I never had it that bad.
It did. So now, if we're noticing now that there's the age is lowering in terms of people who are affected by colorectal cancer. What is the age now that they're recommending that people get colonoscopies if you have
45.
a family history? Wow.
Well, if you have a family history, a first degree relative, like a mother, sister, brother, then, and if their cancer, they had it at 45, then they would recommend that you start having colonoscopies at maybe 35, usually like a 10-year. But that's a first degree relative, not aunts, uncles, but brother, sister, mother. Then they lower those recommendations.
Are people who might have a higher incident of hemorrhoids, does that impact or might have a impact on whether or not you can develop colorectal cancer?
No. Those are basically just varicose veins in the rectum.
Okay.
So,
I had an incident with a firefighter that I grew up with, and I went to visit him. He had colorectal cancer. When he found out it was stage 4. Now, I asked him what was his symptoms. I think firefighters are predisposed to a lot of stuff that cause them
a lot of chemicals,
carcinoma things. But he said he was always taking antacids. He always, and you see some people that they're just drinking it. They don't even measure it out. They just drinking it. That's a classic symptom that something is going wrong with your colon. You should not have any GI disturbance that bad if you don't have a diagnosis of irritable bowel disease or something like that. If you're taking antacids on a regular basis like that, you need to follow up.
Yes.
What you talk about it. How important then, or what is the impact of our gut health on? Could it be a contributor to colorectal cancer?
Well, our gut health is a reflection of the balance of bacteria in our gut, good, bad, different types. There's a lot of different types of bacteria and other organisms in our gut that are healthy for us. And sometimes they grow out of balance. Could be a variety of things that make that happen. But the healthier your gut is, the more easy, the better you are to fight off any kind of infections and that's where our immunity starts. That's where a lot of things. So if your gut biome is off, that puts you at risk for lots of different things. And so oftentimes that is going to be reflected though in how you absorb nutrients into your body. Even just from regular foods, some not proper malabsorption of things, which can lead to, a person can be eating healthy and then you still see their fingernails are splitting and their hair is falling out, even though it could be a reflection of their gut biome is not balanced and they're not able to absorb nutrients correctly. But everything kind of starts there. So that's why it's so important that we eat a variety of foods. We eat, healthy foods. We, Julia talks about broccoli and how important those types of vegetables are in our gut.
Roughage.
Mm-hmm.
How important is roughage in terms of your colon health?
It's very important. Like your broccoli is like a brush that
Little scrub brush.
that cleans out the the jars and everything. You need you need roughage. You need because you have your small bowel where most of the absorption takes place in the small bowel, and and then the large bowel is what stores it, and some absorption takes place in there. But when the roughage, that's why you need the roughage for in the large bowel, because it has less water in it, and where the small bowel has a lot of fluids and stuff that's going on. That's in that small bowel. Then it goes down into the large bowel, and it gets more firm. And that's why you want your stool to be able to be firm. You don't want it to be
watery,
loose.
fatty, loose. And the other thing is us Americans in general don't get enough fiber in our diet, which the roughage, and that comes from a lot of our fruits and veggies, our whole grains. And so we need those, but the majority of Americans don't get enough. Again, sometimes eating the processed foods, if you're eating a hamburger, you're really not getting any fiber. Adding vegetables to it or eating other things. That's why it's so important to try to have a balanced meal. So we have to work at least in our culture at getting in enough fiber. Paying attention to that. A salad is great for fiber. Your nuts, your fruits, your veggies, your whole grains, any kind of diet too that tells you you have to cut this food out. You can't have, those are not healthy diets. Each one of those parts of the food, those different foods provide different nutrition. Whole grains, we need those. They provide nutrition that we can't get from any other food source. And so we need to really pay attention to our diet, and we're not good at that. We're just,
With lifestyle, right?
right. We're just not good at that. But all of that affects how our gut works.
And I think, it always asks when the human Homo sapiens become carnivores. But I thought about, we probably had the majority of my diet growing up was really plant-based because, the cost of meat, so it was always greens, cabbage, green beans, it was never broccoli. But to be able,
never broccoli.
It was funny because I remember one time I made broccoli and my nieces were like, they weren't eating that. They didn't know what that was because they grew up in a typical Southern home where broccoli was not a common vegetable that we had. It was greens, cabbage, green beans, your any of your beans, your black-eyed peas, crowder peas, that kind of stuff. And so you get a lot of fiber from those, though. Your beans, excellent sources of black beans, pinto beans, any of those have tons of fiber in there.
Yeah. As long as you're not cooking it in
yes.
Well,
with a lot of fat back or that
but
kind of stuff.
I must say, I have to give our community credit. I do think we're eating better.
Oh gosh, yes.
You rarely see white bread anymore. Most people are eating whole grains and
if you're eating honey baked ham and you want a ham sandwich, you
gotta have some white bread.
It's
like a pork chop sandwich. You really need some white bread with a pork chop sandwich.
I was going to.
That's all you need too. You don't need anything but that white
pork
bread.
Chops last week, so wanted greens. So I went to Speed Queen to get greens, and I'm driving, and I'm saying, I wonder, do they put pork in their greens as I'm getting ready to fly?
Eating pork chops. Right.
I worry about the pork.
Better not put any pork in them greens, but we're having fried pork chops for dinner. A lot
of pork in the pork and beans.
Yeah, there's really none in there. It's like, really?
But I think our diet, and then our lifestyle, because I think lifestyle, we're more sedentary.
Yes, we're not moving around. We're not exercising.
Right. I mean,
And when I say exercise, I don't mean going to the gym. I mean
just movement.
getting up, moving around. I mean, our parents cooked, right? That was exercise. They're in the kitchen, they're reaching, they're cutting, they're chopping, they're standing over the stove while they cook. We don't have to do that anymore, right? You just pick up your phone, you
The
order
washing
it,
machine.
it shows up at your
Oh,
door,
with the
right?
ringer?
Yes,
With the
yeah,
ringer.
that's what my mother had. You wring those clothes out.
Hang them up.
Well,
Mhm.
old
It was
Curious
very-
George here tried to figure out what would
Oh
happen
no.
if my arm
Oh, it hurt, didn't it? It really hurt.
and they were able to, you popped it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now they
But I
to
had
come
those
up
little
with
like
that.
eight year old bones.
Yeah, right.
They don't.
Our bones wouldn't do so well.
Yeah.
But like Julia said, I think we are seeing people improve. I'm amazed at our events. Children love salad.
Mhm.
They just,
Carrots.
if you have salad, they want it,
Look at this.
which I
That's
think
what-
is awesome.
Mhm. Blood
New
test
advances in
in there.
colorectal cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Did he have colorectal cancer? What did Al Roker have? He had a cancer, right?
He did. I think it was.
Yeah.
Let's look that up.
Was it prostate?
No,
I don't know. I'm
don't
gonna
know if
look it
was-
up.
I thought I knew it was a cancer.
Because I know he lost a lot of weight.
But I thought that was bypass.
Yeah, I think that was. That's what that was. Yeah.
Yeah, and so what we're looking at on NBC, I'm sorry, they're doing a whole thing.
It was prostate.
Mhm.
Okay,
Look
blood
at
in the
you.
stool, change in bowel parts, habits, ongoing belly pain, unexplained weight loss. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and these might be symptoms
Correct.
that you might be dealing with the onset of
Mhm.
colorectal
Mhm.
cancer. Talk a lot. I'm sorry.
Oh, and I was just say any kind of rectal bleeding is not normal. Period. So if you suspect you have, if it's bright red blood, you suspect that you have hemorrhoids, you still should have that checked out. Sometimes hemorrhoids get really engorged. They can be very painful, and they need to be removed. So no amount of rectal bleeding is considered normal. That should always be followed up.
And women certainly when they were pregnant, right? That,
Mhm.
that they-
Oh yeah, often very prone to that.
So
Yeah.
I got a question. So when I went one time, the doctor told me because of the blood vessels
Mm-hmm.
that's there, whatever, you can have bleeding from excess pushing
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. But he said that if it's bright red, don't worry about it. But if it's dark, then that's when you have an issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, dark just means that it's higher up. That bleeding is coming from higher up, so that's old blood where you're bleeding. But even if you have bright red blood on occasion, and you know that you have hemorrhoids, which are what you're talking about, those blood vessels when when you're constipated or you're straining and you get some blood, those are your hemorrhoids. Now, if you have that on occasion and you know you have hemorrhoids, it's not a big deal. But if you have a lot of bleeding, even if it's bright red blood, that still needs to be evaluated.
So even if you don't have hemorrhoids, whatever, but you just have little bright bleeding from the excess pushing and
That's
things
probably
like
a
that, though, is it still hemorrhoids?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So it don't have anything to do with the blood vessels that's there.
Hemorrhoids are blood vessels.
That's what inflamed.
Right. And then they start to leak. So you have these little valves that control the blood flow
Okay.
in your blood vessels. And if those valves can be damaged or leaky, then that blood gets gorged. It gets engorged in there, and then those vessels can open up and you can bleed.
Oh.
So so that is still hemorrhoids. Some hemorrhoids come on occasion. They're not that bad. Some are really horrible that require surgery.
Oh, not that bad.
Yeah, there are some that require surgery. But when you have hemorrhoids, one of the most important things is making sure that you do have a healthy diet
Started getting
and or medication to keep your stools
Because
nice and
that's
soft.
Okay.
What about one of the things I look for is whether or not my stool is floating.
Mhm.
Is that because then that's,
Well, if it's floating, it's probably got a lot of fat in it. So unprocessed fat. So
Sailing in the rain.
I never heard of that before.
yeah, so like if you look,
what,
this
heard of
is
what floating?
Looking for my bowels.
right. So
movement
this is
to
kind
float.
of this is kind of It does, but if you have a lot that's floating around and it tends to be a little greasy, that's because of undigested fat that's gone through your system. So,
I just misdiagnosed.
yeah, so that's
She said when it's floating.
that's no.
We supposed to
It's
how to
water, man.
It's
It's in the toilet, dude. It ain't like levitating. I really need to see it now.
No, you need to see an exorcist.
That's right. If
You
it's
need
floating,
some holy oil if you're floating, Jack.
that's right.
The doctor sent me to the priest. Oh, no.
I can't help with that.
Hey, Keith be all on the wall.
You got a stool demon. I can't do nothing for that.
You listen to community. Oh, man. I was wondering if the school demon. Thank you.
You started it, Keith. You started it.
We're going to take a quick break. She was like, what? Get some holy water and we'll be right back. Well, the bowel exorcism was successful.
Yep. Yeah.
So let me thank Father McKay.
Boy,
You know,
It was a nasty job, but somebody
had to
it.
do it, right? You were on bowel exorcism, dude. You really pissed off the Pope. That dude,
Right.
what did you do to the Pope?
Oh.
Oh man. But anyway, so we're talking about colorectal cancer. We've talked about now that obviously it's impacting us as early age. We talked about some of the causes. What are some of the preventative things that people can do? When we talked about diet, some other things that people can do.
Diet, exercise, and really, a lot of times we take so many vitamins and minerals, and if you're taking all that, take it to your primary care doctor and let them look at it too, because some things that you think are good for you are really counteracting certain things. So you need to make sure that you're taking what you need. I knew this GI doctor, and he would always say, your body don't need that much help. If you give it the right food, the food would be what the right diet. And you don't need all of that, stuff that people spend on.
Oh, they spend it's expensive pee is really what it is. A lot of that
That's what
you just pee out, and that means your kidneys have to work to filter that and pee it out. So a lot of the things that you don't need, the things like vitamin D might be more things that in this climate that we need. But
What
your
about
doctor,
calcium?
if you're eating a healthy diet with some dairy, you're probably getting enough
I'm drinking
calcium.
whole milk now. I know
Yeah.
people used to say, and I'm glad they changed the recommendation now. It used to be for kids, they had them on 2%.
Mhm.
Now they can go back to whole
Yeah.
milk.
Mhm.
But what about like water in terms of, just trying to, does water help us?
And we need a lot more water than what we drink.
Mhm.
They used to say 8 cups a day, but it depends on your age, your
Activity
body,
level.
your activity level, because you can sweat out. If you're sweating a lot, you need to replace that. So we're not drinking enough water.
And we're drinking other things instead that have a lot of chemicals in it that, again, are going through our GI system, and then our liver and our kidneys have to filter that out. So water is ideal. You don't want to overdo it because you can cause other issues. But if you feel like you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So you want to just drink throughout the day and to make sure you're getting
And
enough fluids in.
If you feel like you're hungry, you should
You might
drink
be
water.
right. You should drink water,
Yeah.
especially if you're somebody that you overeat, or food is you use as a crutch. A lot of times when we're hungry, but that's true. We see a lot of people. I mean, we have a huge obesity issue in our country now. Other countries don't look like that when you go to them. We are an obese country. But drinking some fluids, some water, sometimes waiting 20 minutes, and then you're no longer hungry because it was really some dehydration that you were feeling.
We went to the Milton House, which is a stop on the Underground Railroad, and human beings are so much bigger now than they were in the mid 1800s. Mm-hmm. And one of the examples was when they built like a little passageway to get to the room, how narrow that passageway was, and then how small the room, because human beings were just smaller. Mm-hmm. We're getting bigger. And I know when you talk to immigrants, you ask them, what's the one thing about America? And they go, the supermarkets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That when you go in and you just see all this food, and you go in countries where we might have this, we might not have this.
Mm-hmm. I really don't know that any other country has it as plentiful as we do. Even my niece's husband, who lives he grew up over in London in England, and when he's here, they usually come home for like 3 weeks during Christmas, and then every other summer they come home. Anytime it's a grocery store run, he's like, he wants to do it because he's just fascinated with grocery stores, because there's just so much to choose from and all the fresh produce. Took him over to what's the one on the Cermak? Oh, wow. He was just in heaven with the produce section over there. And we don't think anything of it. We just think that's norm.
But in our community, we do have food deserts.
Yes, we do. A lot of them.
And pharmacy deserts, mm-hmm. because a lot of those food stores that closed had pharmacies in them. A lot of the pick and save. So we are in a food desert and a pharmacy desert. And so for those who don't drive or have someone to take them, they don't have that luxury
mm-hmm.
of going to stores.
On a corner store, which has a very limited selection of food.
Yes, and
it's expensive.
It's expensive, and it has a lot of processed food, and doesn't have the best of food, the quality of food. We've always had that problem in our community. We never really got the best. And you could see that when you would go to the same store in a different part of town, and you see the difference in the produce and the mm-hmm. meat and everything. So our community has always been not treated well.
How is colon rectal cancer, once it has been diagnosed? What are some of the treatments?
They usually do surgery, and then if they can
remove it, that's the best
like
thing.
Brenda was saying, that your colon is like 25 feet long, so you can take a lot. They could take a lot out, or they could take it all out. And then that's when you have the colonoscopy or the small, but you say it.
There's sigmoid,
the ileostomy.
Yes.
And so they'll take it out, and then they will do chemo.
Mm-hmm. And the earlier you can catch it, like other cancers, the more likely you are to have a long-term successful outcome. So they can totally remove it. If it started to spread to other areas, that's where you are going to have more treatments. Because once it gets in the lymph nodes, it can travel to any part of your body. It doesn't just have to go whatever's adjacent. It can go to the brain. It can go anywhere. So early detection is going to give you your best outcome, and that's why we're seeing more in the African American community that's having bad outcomes, because it's not detected early enough.
Well, but we were talking about, I think off air, we mentioned Chadwick Boseman. Right,
mm-hmm.
Chadwick Boseman. He was relatively young.
He was very young.
And you saying it was undiagnosed. Is that because just when you're younger, chances are you're not going to the doctor? Or
he probably went to the doctor. He probably was taking those antacids and thinking that he was stressed, and
in his career, stress is
coming up with all kind of excuses. But once he went, they diagnosed it quickly, and it had spread. But is very successful. The treatment of colorectal cancer is very successful. I've known people that have lived with it for years afterwards. And usually if they die, they don't die from that. So this is why it's a very curable cancer.
But it just needs to be diagnosed.
It
needs
needs
to be diagnosed.
diagnosed. So if you have a loved one that you see that's taking a lot of antacids and having bowel problems, you should encourage them to go and tell their doctors. And if their doctor's not listening to them, then you get another doctor.
You go to another doctor. And stomach pain. A lot of times, again, especially if you have a history of like irritable bowel syndrome or something like that, you just might think that's it. But we know our bodies better than anybody else. We need to pay attention to those symptoms. Those are telling us something's wrong. Pain is always a sign that something's not right, right? And we should pay attention to that. I don't care how busy we are, what we got going on. We need to take the time to go into the doctor and get that investigated. And again, sometimes it's a little bit more of an uphill battle with younger people. And like Julia said, if that doctor's not working for you, you find another doctor.
Unexplained weight loss is a key. A lot of people like it, but if you have an unexplained weight loss and not feeling well, you definitely need to go in because that cancer sets up its own blood system and it's taken from you. All of your it's just like a monster. It's inside of you and it's growing from you, and it's taking everything you need to grow and feeding itself. And then your body is being without. So you lose weight and you don't feel good. You're tired, you're weak. And this cancer is just getting larger and larger.
And those cells are replicating fast. And that takes a lot of energy from your body too. Like Julie said, in today's society, people like weight loss. They may say, oh, I've just been so busy. But if you're eating the same, even if you're a little bit busy, you're not going to have significant weight loss without trying or making some big changes. That's always a sign. It may not be cancer, could be diabetes, it could be anything, but it needs to be addressed.
Well, people are now using the weight loss drugs, and I think one of the byproducts is now gallbladders. And the impact it's having on the gallbladder, which is, and I guess I can understand it because at one point my mom was on Trulicity. I think where she took it, and that's right after that. That's when she had her gallbladder situation. So there are all these side effects, and look, it's as you get older, losing weight is hard.
It is. And that's where some of these drugs, not everybody has those kinds of side effects. And those drugs have really done a lot of good for a lot of people for a variety of reasons, not just diabetes, weight loss, high blood pressure, inflammation in the body, all sorts of things. But one of the side effects of those, it's not really a side effect, but it's kind of how it works, is some people really nutritionally become, have a deficit because they don't feel like eating. And when they do eat, they're not eating the right things. So if you're going to be on one of those drugs, you really need to make your nutrition count. You might even ask your doctor to set you up with a nutritionist so you understand how to get the right foods in, because eating junk food on those is going to set you up for trouble. You need to make sure that not everything, but the majority of what you put in your mouth is providing your body with some nutrition.
I think that a lot of times when people talk about malnutrition, they think about, feed the children, right?
Right.
And you have people overweight
that are malnourished.
They're malnourished. And so, just being able to, and again, I think we just have to be more mindful, in our diets. And that's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, a lot of planning. None of that happens by accident. If you're trying to lose weight and you want to get the right nutrition, that requires a lot of planning on your part. Change the way you think about food, how you look at food, and sometimes you need help with that. Like I said, a dietitian, nutritionist, somebody that can help reframe that from you, because that can be overwhelming, even with a new diagnosis like diabetes, hypertension. Learning to change your eating habits, that can be really overwhelming.
When would you? I think you said right now they're recommending that people start looking at colonoscopies at 45.
But if you're symptomatic, or you need to, I tell people to keep a diary too, because oftentimes when you go to the doctor, you don't tell them everything, not because you don't want to, sometimes because you don't want to. My mother was famous for that. It's like, no, that's not really true. She gets so mad at me, like, don't be telling my business.
You smoke,
Mom, it's the doctor. I got to tell them.
Smoke like maybe 2 cigarettes a day.
Right.
I'm up on a pack,
a day. But in the nighttime, I smoke a lot more, but you didn't ask me that, right? Just during the day, maybe 2 cigarettes.
I drink when I smoke.
But I forgot what we were talking about. I don't know.
Well, going to the doctor.
Oh, going to the doctor. And writing.
Set up my segue for the importance of a
primary doctor.
Primary care.
That's your gatekeeper. Now, a good primary doctor will say, I think you need to see a GI specialist, or I'm going to refer you to a GI specialist. There are some doctors that aren't as good about referring, but that doesn't mean that you can't say, this problem has really been bothering me. What we're doing isn't working. I really would like to see a GI specialist. Some insurances require that gatekeeping. Other insurances don't. You could make that, you could do that yourself.
There is something going on in the community where a lot of people are experiencing diarrhea and flu-like symptoms and getting so dehydrated that they are having to go in. I've known at least 4 people that I have known that they've been to ER with this, and they get fluid, they get built back up and put back out. But there is, if you're having diarrhea for a couple of days, you need to be cognizant of you becoming dehydrated.
And especially if you have other health issues like hypertension, diabetes, you really need to be seen, because those electrolyte imbalances and or dehydration can really make you very, very ill. So don't ignore it. And there's a point in dehydration that drinking water is really not going to help you. You have to have IVs. And they say with a person that's diabetic, if they've had severe dehydration or been ill more than 24 hours, they need to contact their doctor.
Again, if folks might need a primary care physician, or you have a number?
We always have this number that we're supposed to tell you to call.
Why are you squinting when your glasses are next to it?
I knew Keith was going to say something.
I'm trying to find.
She said up here squinting. And
I knew Keith was going to say, put your glasses on.
See how little that print is?
Print is smaller than what it used to be.
It keeps getting littler, doesn't it? Oh my gosh.
It's not on. It's not on here this time.
Oh.
But they can reach out to Ascension.
You can just go to the Ascension website and just Google Ascension, and they'll have different, like, find a doctor, that sort of thing. You can go in there and look at that. And there's a description, every like primary doctor, there's a little description about who they are that may help you make a decision. And it should tell you whether or not they're accepting new patients or not.
We do a thing during Black History Month where we say, know your history, know your medical history. That's important when you're going to get an understanding and knowing how your body works, right? And if you notice something's a little off, then you
go see about
it.
And a lot of times primary care doctors look different. We have family practice physicians, we have internists,
internal medicine,
and then you have primary care, but they're all primary care physicians. And you just have to figure out which one you want. A family practice doctor, you may go into the office and might see an infant in there,
right?
Because they take care of you from the womb to the tomb. But if you have a basic primary care doctor, you're not going to see any children in there.
And I always like to remind young women, especially even older women, a gynecologist is not a primary care doctor. A lot of them only see their gynecologist, but you need a primary care doctor because that gynecologist cannot do a general workup for you. They can only focus on those, the gynecological portion of it. So you need a primary care doctor.
And now they don't even recommend that you go to them on a regular anymore. The
gynecologist, right? I mean, if you're of childbearing age and you're having children, yes. But other than that, a lot of your primary care doctors can do the full exam for you, including the pap smear. And then you only need the gynecologist when you have issues or you're pregnant. And that frees up those gynecologists to be able to see more patients in their specialty.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you got to know what insurance you have.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, because certain insurances only work in certain healthcare systems, and you want to make sure you're in the proper healthcare system you need to be in. So you need to talk to your health insurance to find out where you can go.
Be healthy, be you, Miss Julia Means, Miss Brenda Buchanan. Man, Ascension, Wisconsin. Man, we really appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
We do, and we love being here and miss you guys and our viewers not being here as often, but we still are here once a month, and so we're grateful for that.
Once a month.
Once a month.
Once a month.
Yeah. Do 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 do. Yeah, and obviously the exorcism zone too. So.
Oh, that used to be my ringtone.
Did it? The do 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 do.
Yeah, tubular bells, and my phone went off one time. Dude, man, stop playing that devil music. And one was going like, no, tubular bells is a classical piece that was, huh?
I had She's My Queen to Be. And went to the restroom doing church and left my phone on the organ.
Oh no!
When I tell you, he was preaching, "She's my queen." He looked, and they couldn't do nothing, so he had to sing the whole song until I got back to push the button. Yeah, man, I was so embarrassed.
It could have been that special one where her ringtone freaks come out at night.
Doing his sermon.
Like freaks come out like.
He showed make sure your ringers is off, please.
But I was at a funeral last week, Brother Franklin's funeral. Look, folks, they tell you when you come in to turn your phone off.
Man.
So it got to the point that Pastor Sibley got he said on the fourth one, he said, that better be the Lord.
Right. Because I told y'all.
Right. Because it was like, it's like, man, turn,
we can't do right, wrong, or wrong, right.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Pastor Sibley is
right, wrong.
He is very, very unique.
Yeah.
He said, they're going to make me get ugly. I said, but you do it so well.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like he raised his voice.
No, he stayed the same tone, but he done told you off.
You walk outside going,
off.
Yeah. In a nice way.
It cut deep, huh?
Yeah, I had a friend, and we're good buddies, and so we always comment on each other's mental health. So I must have been on one of my tangents and everything, and I was on Lisbon, and she said, "Had you ever thought about getting help, talking to someone?" I said, "Okay," hung up. So I get maybe 4 blocks. I call her back. Did you just call me crazy? She said, "I wonder how long it was going to take you."
Professional
Right,
help.
because I'm all in my, all of your thing. And you don't. So,
Yeah.
man, it's always good. We certainly appreciate you. Thank you for the information. I know our listening audience always benefits from it. So thank you. And thank you to good folks for Ascension for making you all. Thank you, Nicole.
We're going to be in the community. We got a couple of baby showers coming up.
Okay.
And quite a few things, and we'll let you know about it.
Yes.
Okay. Sound like a band, right? We gonna be on tour.
We gonna be
Yeah, I was gonna say
we
that.
are going to be on tour,
Yeah.
but more about that to come.
Yes.
Make sure y'all release the date so
Yeah.
let people know where y'all gonna be.
Where we gonna be?
Where we
Yeah.
gonna be,
Yeah.
man?
Brenda and Julia show.
Right. BJ and them.
That's right, BJ and them.
What was it? What was it in the Living Color? What was it? Cephas and Reese?
Oh yeah, they were
Cephas and Reese.
They were terrible. They were just awful.
yeah.
Man, I missed that show.
They're
I remember when
hilarious.
was it Sunday night
Yeah, it
it
was
came
Sundays
out?
it came
Man,
out.
I would be sitting in front of that TV.
BBC.
Cephas and Reese.
Hilarious.
That was a one of a kind show.
You know, I love people who are so awful. They don't care if they're awful, and that just becomes the thing. You know, like you just go like, dude, do you know how bad you are?
Funny as a fool.
But man, it just be so funny. And let me thank everybody, callers. We thank you, Clark Kent,
Oh.
Mr. Rideout.
Well, you know.
You sound like a cowboy.
Well, you know.
He asked one of his profound questions.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Okay.
I got some questions.
Yeah, he had a profound question, and then he just then went and offended all the hearing impaired people in America.
I mean, but that's a question that I asked
We
myself.
couldn't hear it.
You just made it worse.
Yet they were offended.
Made it worse.
We get phone calls from advocacy groups. Going like, well, what? Like they heard us.
Right. Well, Facebook Live now. Maybe they were reading
Closed
lips.
caption.
That's
Closed
right.
caption.
Uh-huh.
Like, did he just say that?
Did he just
reading
say
it in
that?
braille?
Yeah, he
Always
wanted-
getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes people got to ask the hard question.
Yeah.
You
Somebody
just got
asked.
to ask the hard question.
And Kurt Franklin said it best. Someone asked a question. That's me. I asked those. hard
Okay.
I know if another
Alrighty.
gospel entertainer pass out.
Give him some water. So,
He passed out, and then who was it? CC Winans.
Yep.
She passed out. Yeah.
Recently?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dehydration.
Lack of water.
Yeah,
They
dehydration.
need to call. See, that's what
Exhaustion.
y'all need to tell them to when y'all gonna be on tour, so they can pass out in front of y'all.
Oh.
Yeah.
Y'all can help.
If they're passing out from dehydration, they need to be seen.
That Kurt Franklin, though, he moves too.
That's right.
Pelvic
Nice.
thrusting.
Well,
Oh,
I
my
think it's
Lord,
the tight
pelvic
clothes that
thrust.
cuts off the circulation.
He said the tight clothes.
Hey, Keith, what you call it? What you call it? Front. What you say?
Front twerking.
Front twerk.
You mean twerking or
And
torquing?
you sit up and you go like, now look, I'm progressive. I think that your worship expression is just that.
Right.
But some things be borderline.
Yeah, pelvic
I mean,
thrusting,
like
man,
you
that
like be right up on
Pelvic thrust.
Yeah.
right on the
pelvic thrust real hard.
and I'm going like, first of all, they gotta sew you in that little suit you got on. He already
That's a
little.
onesie.
Yeah,
He
you
is.
said onesie. You know, he did have a onesie
He
on
did
though.
have a onesie. I'm
Oh,
telling you.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The one,
You know,
you gotta button it up.
we
right
That
now.
already
couldn't
little.
feel good.
And then I'm going like,
No way. It doesn't feel good on a woman. I know it doesn't feel good on a man.
He had a whole body G.
Yeah, man. So yeah,
Wow.
but they need to. But you know, in gospel music, that's been one of the issues that, based on lifestyle, the traveling, people eating, bad habits, and so you look at-
Exhaustion.
yeah, I know. One year, I didn't understand it. They brought Fred Hammond here.
Oh, you talking about the Christian right?
I think it was MATC.
Oh,
And he was here talking about, diabetes.
Mhm. He was a good advocate for diabetes.
Because he was solid.
Mhm.
He still is.
Yeah.
He hasn't lost weight.
Not
No.
really. No. He actually just had surgery, I think, on his knees.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why he sits.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
John P. Key, same thing.
Yeah. Now, John P. Key almost died.
Yeah. And back in the day, he come in and he wanted to go play ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was always the thing. They wanted to go play ball, and then it was just kind of, but that lifestyle and eating is, as you said, it can be our crutch. It can be
Yeah.
our drug. So,
Oh, absolutely.
all right. Hey, the good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow, and as always, go from this place in peace.